Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel. So I wasn't going to talk about the girls trip. I had wrote a little 1-2-1-2 about the first episode we saw where the ladies were in St. Thomas, but I had decided, just to wait until this next episode to see how the trip was going to progress. But honey, we didn't get another episode. As a matter of fact, we're not getting one until next week. And after seeing that we didn't get an episode on Saturday, I just want to say that I am over this girls trip, because at this point I feel like they are just dragging the season. Us not getting an episode on Saturday spoke volumes to me that Carlos King and production do not have enough content to produce back-to-back episodes for some reason. And my question is, why do y'all not have enough content where we have to continue to take pauses and things like that? Why aren't you able to have a steady flow of episodes? Why are we dragging these episodes for this season this long? And so I agree with so many of the other YouTube content creators that we just had a break, honey, because of the Olympics, which was not even 3 weeks ago, I believe, and here we are getting another break from the show. So honey, I'm like, Melody, at this point, this is draining. So in the rest of this video, I'm just gonna go ahead and talk about the girls trip. I know it was last week, but child, here we go. So on this girls trip vacay, Melody Cherie had enough. When Melody started scratching her head, it was then that I knew them people had gotten on her last nerves. Honey, that itch was giving. I'm tired of these girls. Lord have mercy. They getting on my last nerves.
Space in the middle
with no name.
Yeah, I know you're not tripping with me about no damn name card.
So angry at this moment.
You doing this complaining the last 5 minutes and yelling and screaming.
No. Everybody got a name tag with me. All right, that's cool. I took care of you on my Houston trip.
Okay, because my ex was there. That's right. There are no men here.
If you want it, you can have it. I'm gonna leave y'all. But
What
if
you
you
gonna
want
do,
it,
stay in the damn sandwich?
I could go stay in Lauren's suite down there because it's real big, baby. You can have it.
I was over it at that point. Everything was out of line to me at that point.
Whew, this is definitely not the energy I expected on the first day of arriving to this beautiful island. And to be quite frank, draining.
But I don't know why Melody thought that she could mix her friends like Dr. Shanita and Lauren with the other women on the cast of Love and Marriage Huntsville. Like, for me, this was a recipe for drama. Then you're dealing with so many personalities. So if these women don't like Melody, they are not going to like Melody's friends. And it works the other way around. If Melody thinks these women are the op, and I'm talking about the women on the cast, then her friends are also going to think the same thing, especially when they don't know one another. Now, Melody clearly made a separation when she took the upstairs room for herself, Lauren, and Dr. Shanita, y'all, and she put the other ladies downstairs, including Miss Neal. And I believe this is why Miss Neal made the whole room and name tag situation into a big deal, because she wanted to be upstairs with Melody. So all together, this was a beautiful island. It was a beautiful house outside looking in. Had it been me, I would have tried to enjoy it as much as I can, but it was a terrible idea for all these women to mingle in the same house. The problem is that, these women don't really have a lot in common to maintain a balanced relationship on the St. Thomas trip. There's no foundation of a friendship, and clearly no one wants to be friends with Melody friends, and the women on the show of Love and Marriage Huntsville feel the exact same way, and that creates division. You have Mel and her friends on one side, and then you have Mel and the cast on the other side. Who is the middleman? Who is the common denominator? It is Mel. And from a producer standpoint, Carlos King was all in for this trip because he tweeted, "Baby, I am loving this girl's trip." But I don't really know Carlos. It is kind of giving messy, honey. So this trip does start out as a refreshing thing with Melody and her friends, Lauren and Dr. Shanita. They are laughing, engaging with one another, and just having a good old time. Even the smiles and hugs that Melody greeted the other ladies with when they arrived to the house, to me, it was very welcoming, but it went dark real fast. When Melody started describing dealing with these ladies as a draining energy, I want to say, honestly, that's when I knew that the trip had really changed. I do want to say that I believe Melody had pure intentions when it comes to this vacation, but I'm not sure at the end of the day because, I'm not Melody. But all I can say is I can see how she wanted to separate herself from the other cast, and that's by having boundaries up. She was like, my friends and me gonna be upstairs, and then the rest of y'all gonna be downstairs. Another example that I want to provide is when Dr. Shanita offered to give Miss Neal her room, and she said that she would just share rooms with Lauren. Did you notice how Dr. Shanita said, "I'll give up my room for you, Miss Neal," but she didn't say, "I'll swap rooms with you, Miss Neal."
If you want it, you can have it. I'm gonna leave y'all. But
What
if
you
you
gonna
want
do,
it,
stay in the damn sandwich?
I could go stay in Lauren's suite down there because it's real big, baby. You can have it.
She said, I would give up my room, but I am not crossing that threshold, honey, of going downstairs to play with these other ladies. And to me, why did Dr. Shanita say that? Why would she say that she would give up her room and share with Lauren instead of just saying that she would swap rooms? I mean, I would think that she would want her own room, but clearly it's because maybe they had a conversation before the other case got there. Now, I will give it to Melody that she did the right thing when she tried to talk to her friend Miss Neal, hoping to calm her down about this whole name tagging room situation. But this became an out of control thing because Melody had to continue to address the room situation with Kimmy and with Letitia and with Miss Neal, and tensions began to steadily rise and build in that house. And when you add alcohol, honey, it makes people act a different way. So you see Miss Neal go off, and then you see Dr. Shanita jump in between Melody and Miss Neal, and then it trickles down to Letitia, and then Kimmy gets into a heated argument with Miss Neal, so it continues to spiral down. Nevertheless, what I did like about this trip is the way how Miss Neal pointed out to Melody that she took real good care of her on the Houston trip. And one of the main reasons she did that was because Martell was there and she just wanted to respect Melody's boundaries. Miss Neal's energy to me is not about the name tag. Once you sort through all of the emotions, it was really not about the name tag. And if you're careful, you will focus on the name tag being the problem instead of what Miss Neal was really trying to say. I don't think production showed all of that. I don't think they wanted us to know all of that. I think they showed us what they wanted us to see. I think they focused on Miss Neal being upset about the name tag in the room situation and how she was sandwiched between Stormy and Trisha and then Letitia and Kimmy. Had we seen everything happen in that moment, I feel that we would have heard more from Miss Neal. When Melody did not give her a room upstairs, she probably would have said, you know, it's the principle, it's the respect, and it's the setting of boundaries when it comes to the location of my room. I also believe that Miss Neal wanted what she did for Melody in Houston to be reciprocated in St. Thomas, which brings me to my next topic about the gift of reciprocity. Now, Melody has talked about this plenty of times on her live. One of the things reciprocity duplicates in a friendship is it involves being considerate of each other's needs and making compromises when necessary. And so don't get me wrong, honey, I am not blaming Melody for any of this. The devil is a lie and the truth ain't in them, because Ms. Neal could have came at Melody in a better way and also compromised on the way that Melody divided the rooms up. She could have said, my friend is dealing with all of these women, I'll just talk to her when we get back in Alabama. She also could have said, well, I'll just talk to her later on tonight. She didn't have to do all of that, especially in front of the other ladies. Another thing about reciprocity is it doesn't always mean a strictly 50-50 balance. So Ms. Neal saying, I treated you good in Houston, but you're not doing the same thing. That's not what reciprocity is all about. It's not a strict 50-50 balance. Sometimes one friend might give more in situations and the other might give more at other times. But the key is to maintain a general sense of fairness and mutual respect for your friend. And so Ms. Neal saying that she didn't care about the rest of the cast on the Houston trip as much as she cared about Melody and making her feel comfortable. She said all of that because that is what true friends are supposed to do. I will say, when it goes back to all that back and forth Miss Neal and Melody did, whether they did it for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and a whole hour, it got them absolutely nowhere because Miss Neal still didn't get her name tag, honey, and she remained sandwiched between the ladies. And we know that when it's a girl trip, a lot of the times women just want to have a good time, and who is really going to spend most of the time in their room anyway on a girl's trip? I don't know if y'all know this, but when women get together to go on a cruise, a lot of the times they don't get the most expensive rooms. They rarely get a room with a window because they are not going to be there for a long time. Honey, the real expensive room or the good looking room is for you and your boo or you and your husband, not for you and your girls. So I don't feel like the rooms the ladies received were the problem at the end of the day. They were looking for something to be mad at Melody about, and this was it. But I do want to be fair and look at this girls trip gone wrong from all angles. When it comes to Letitia and Kimmy, they get the short end of the stick almost every time. But for one, it made me think about, when have they ever planned a girls trip, a cash trip? At this point, I'm with Letitia. This is just to be expected. If it was me, I would have been throwing fun shade left and right. That's how I would have dealt with the situation. But one thing for sure, I would not have been in Melody's face about this room. So before I wrap this video, Melody did try to bring the trip back in, honey. I am disappointed that we did not get an episode on yesterday, but we will see how the rest of the trip goes. Y'all know what the quote says, a hard beginning makes a good ending. Two questions that I do have is, was there really division in the house on the girls trip when Melody took the upstairs room and left the other ladies downstairs? Also, how do you feel about the way Miss Neal treated Melody Cherie? So honey, those are my thoughts. Leave yours in the comment section of this video. As always, thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate it, and I will talk to you guys in the next video.